The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent Power Trading Hour. Are we still there? Yeah, this is one of those days. It's called Options Expiration Delta Neutral Day. And what do we have? Everybody getting froggy to the upside here. Resistance is about 45.50, so we're about 30 points higher than that in the S&P cash. So what should we see? We should be seeing a lot of volume come into the marketplace. Are we seeing that? Not quite. Is it an okay volume? Yeah. Is it kind of blowout? We're going much higher volume? No. It's 6.7 billion shares on the CBOE consolidated tape. If you're new to the show, I'll be glad to send you a link to it, but it's the volume I use. It's broken down 5 ways to Sunday. Or is it 7 ways to Sunday? I have to look up that saying again. Anyway, volume okay, but this is when option market makers tend to do a lot of stuff, which is if they're going to go think the market's going lower, they push it lower. They push it higher and sell a lot more calls, and then it falls back down, and then it goes back up. Anyway, 8 out of 10 times the low of today will be the low, or will be exceeded a week from this Friday, or 8 trading days to options monthly expiration. And that holds fairly well. It's held in and out of bull markets and bear markets. So the question is there enough volume going on? Do we see these guys starting to think that maybe this is the time where they're going to get everybody to get squeezed out on the short side, be able to hand them their ill-gotten stock and cash out and ring the register at the top, and then we go back down lower? But I'm not going to know that probably for about another 30 minutes after the end of the show. But starting to get a little bit of hint that maybe we get some sideways action through next week, and the big destruction will be in the last week of the month. Of course, we continue to see the TLT, which is probably the best benchmark for people that aren't bond heads looking at it, to keep an eye on it. 138.96 is the last tick. My guess is we're building up steam to gap through that and go down to 135 and probably 133-ish on the TLT. Of course, we still have Fed cash coming into the bond market and will until March 1st. So are they just trying to make and put some what are they doing? What would you call it? I think it'd be called putting lipstick on this pig.
Let's put some lipstick on this pig.
Yep, that was them. They were all meeting. I was in attendance in the giant cabal that is the stock market. But the question is, do we know? And I generally am fairly accurate at picking options expiration prices sometimes when there's enough evidence to do it. Not always enough. It's much tougher on quad witching days. But I can get pretty close like I did on Apple last Friday. Sometimes it can't make you any money. Sometimes at least to stay on the opposite side of the trade. But you know what? We'll find out. I'll know fairly quickly if there's anything to really report. And I'll have probably an update out for my subscribers. But I'll be waiting for that. But generally, right about this time, we start seeing the market move higher and lower. If it's been higher all day, it tends to move a little bit lower. I tend to think that there were a lot of people short yesterday. In fact, one of the biggest indications that the market's going to pop is everybody going short. They tend to go short at the very bottom and tend to not be able to short anything at the tops. And yesterday we had a fairly large reading in the, what would you call it, the put-call ratio for the VIX. So generally when you get everybody wanting to buy out of the money puts, pretty good sign that the end is nigh for at least the very short term. Now, does it last for weeks or months? No, a lot of times it just lasts for a day or two. In fact, today, probably the more interesting number that I'm going to be looking at after the close is going to be the trend number on the Amex. The Amex is heavily weighted to a lot of the big ETFs. And so many people have given up on trading individual stocks. They just go to the ETF. And you see everybody going long or everybody going short those ETFs and the Amex. Pretty good indication that trend is going to follow that index. And you're going to see, the kind of push that you get in downtrending markets. But very hard to think that the market goes a lot higher with interest rates going higher and bond purchases being what would you call it? Discontinued. I think that's what they used. Discontinued starting next month. But we have that also happening in the bond market in Europe and other places too. So not a lot else happening. Now, tomorrow we do have CPI numbers in the morning, and that is being gamed 9 ways to Sunday. Yeah, well, like I said, I'm going to have to look that one up. 7 ways to Sunday, 5 ways to Sunday, 7 ways to Sunday. Maybe someone will tell me in the den what the actual saying is. But we've got that tomorrow. A lot of people trying to game that ahead of time. You just hope that they aren't as far off as they were on the numbers last week. As I said last week, to be off on those numbers the way they were basically is 6 orders of deviation out of norm. So the chances that the numbers were cooked for a long time and came back for a variety of reasons to probably closer to where they were last week, you wonder whether or not we're going to have the same thing. Are there going to be the kind of revisions that everybody goes, well, we were just kind of kidding about all the numbers we gave you for the last 3 months. Maybe you can attribute the reasons to a lot of things. Everybody pretty much knows about Occam's razor. There's another razor out there that says, do not attribute to malice to what you can attribute to stupidity. And maybe everybody in the Bureau of Labor Statistics is that stupid. But 6 orders of deviation out, man, there is something really wrong. Someone needed to get fired there. But we shall see tomorrow in the CPI numbers. As I said, we're just kind of hanging up here. My guess is that we could have a big move before the end of the day. And any close back below 45.50 on the S&P cash, not predicting this, but a close below that in the next day or two would be a fairly large signal. The die is cast that we've crossed the Rubicon, that I, again, have used too many mixed metaphors. We'll be back in a minute.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors.
What's separating you from the most successful men and women on Wall Street? That's right, information. Having all the information gives us the perspective we need to place the right trades at the right time. The TAS Profile Scanner is the premier market profile-based scanner. Powered by its acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner instantly filters over 2,500-plus global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. This powerful suite of tools leverages instant trade filtering and strategy formulation to show you emerging trades before they happen. For a limited time, you can save $100 off your first month by using the promo code UPGRADE, and you still get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Level the playing field with the TAS Profile Scanner, which you can find under the Services tab at TFNN.com. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Well, it's another edition of Know Your Idioms, and apparently everything from 2 to 10 are common numbers in ways to Sunday. You even find 1,000 ways to Sunday. Apparently, it is of an idiom. It is the one that has most known variants at 39, and no idea about where it originated. And one of the few idioms that even in Canada or Mexico is not recognized as anything. It's kind of really an American idiom. But I don't know where it comes from, but I've heard it many times. And the earliest in print version comes from July of 1832 on horse racing. 6 rays to Sunday is the most used version. But no one knows where it started or how it started. And apparently it was something around Napoleon's time, but that was it. No clear meaning, which is probably a good thing. 877-927-6648. What else do we have out here? As we said, CPI Thursday. Let's do a little history, and then we'll move on with the rest of the show.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
1969, this date was the first test of the Boeing 747. Interestingly, they choose the same date 6 years after the first test flight of the Boeing 727. Of course, the way I'll always think about it is aluminum overcast. Seeing the first one of those show up in Hawaii, a little hamlet where even in 1970, the price of a ticket round trip from L.A. was $1,000. That was 1970 bucks. And it dropped to $400. Suddenly we started seeing lots of people show up. I would be there for another 6 months or a year, I think, growing up before we moved back to the Midwest. But certainly it was a life-changing plane, mostly because it dropped the cost of aviation for everybody into something that was still very expensive but doable. And literally that's what it was. A 707 from Hawaii round trip to LA was about $1,000. This dropped it to about a little over $400. And as I said, aluminum overcast. Of course, when they started coming out, they had kind of the idea of it being a giant cruise ship. The upper deck, if you've never been in one of them, is used to have an organist up there at the top or a piano player. Man, I just hope that piano didn't come loose when someone was doing a barrel roll in the thing. But back when they had Pan Am and all the other stuff going on, quite the heady time. Don't think we had too many people coming on with running suits, taking their shoes off, and putting their big toe on the vent, blowing on them. I think that's been the height of my travel experience lately. Never been on one where anybody got in a fight. Been on 2 flights where people died and found out how all that works out. Generally, they tow them up and put them on the jump seat and tie them up, duct tie them to the chair. But kind of interesting. But no one ever got in a fight. Always, I don't fly much commercially anymore. Trying to remember the last time I actually did. Been a long time. Interestingly, 6 years after that, they came out with 727. 747, the most successful most successful plane ever built. About 1,600 were built over time. I think only a handful ever had accidents. None of them were because of a fault with the plane. I think one had a problem because they knocked the engine off of it. And, of course, 2 747s ran into each other. Trying to remember it's around the Mediterranean. They had 2 planes run into each other in 747s. A lot of reasons that happened. But the plane itself, probably the best plane ever made. Made more money on its initial investment than the other plane. Made more money. And, of course, still actually being built today. Although I think the last one is about ready to roll off the assembly line. Every time they say that, they get an order for a handful more because it is one of the planes that does things incredibly well. With the new engines on it, also incredibly well. But, with even the bigger planes coming, like the the Airbus 380 going bankrupt, a lot of people don't want to throw money into a big plane anymore. But Boeing actually bet the entire company on it, and it paid off big time for them. And as I say, it's Boeing or I'm not going. 877-927-6648. Another theory. I'm going to call it a crackpot theory because apparently all theories are crackpot now. He thinks it was probably a horse named Sunday. He commanded a soldier to fetch him 6 steps to get on to Sunday. I wonder if that's what it is. Now, it will take a lot more investigation. I need a congressional allotment of about $100 million to investigate it, and I will move forward. 877-927-6648. We got tales from the deep out here of someone actually cutting their toenails on an airline flight. That's pretty much. I think I'd rather see the fight, personally. But the moving the air vent around, I think, with a bare toe by some dude was it. Got a question: did I ever think my life was in danger? I never had a plane. I never was on a plane, commercial plane, that the engine went out. We had a problem that mechanically that worried everybody or anything. And I had about 2.5 million miles on Delta, which I always They only did me right maybe 2 times out of all the times. Thank God it was nice. They got me on a Concorde because they screwed up. And I called the head of Delta in Cincinnati, who I just happened to have the phone number with, and got that handled. But they got me back on and back to someplace I needed to be after they screwed up and left 2 hours early. Who has a plane that leaves 2 hours early? I ask you this. Anyway, we'll continue to keep an eye on the market. I'm suspecting that we're probably going to find some big turn in the market. Either we're going another 60 points higher, we're probably going to pull back a little lower. I'm not going to predict much between now and the end of the day, but I am going to start running some of the options numbers and taking a look at them during the
Are you having fun trading the markets, but having trouble finding like-minded individuals to discuss your trading and investment ideas with? Become an apex predator in the trading markets and join the Tiger's Den Trading Room only at TFNN.com. The Tiger's Den is an exclusive trading room where successful traders from around the world come to exchange trades and ideas. Join the den and surround yourself with the sharpest minds in the trading world. Subscribers to the Tiger's Den are also the first to have their questions answered live on air and can privately chat with our TFNN hosts live during their shows. Interact with other Tigers and Tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day. Subscribe to the Tiger's Den risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee and become part of the TFNN trading community. TFNN, educating investors.
You could be making money off the stock market. And if you're already making money off the stock market, you could be making a lot more. Check out TFNN and Tiger TV and get expert investing advice to give you the power to control your financial future. Go to TFNN.com and find the newsletter for you. Whether you're into trading gold, metals, futures, currencies, or options, you'll get advice and analysis to help you seriously get ahead. TFNN also features trading services with a 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers, as well as TFNN's Tiger Den Trading Room, trading software, and educational webinars for all trading levels. And make sure you check out Tiger TV for free on TFNN.com or TFNN's YouTube channel for live financial content from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on market days. Stop watching on the sidelines while other people get rich and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Messed it up. Well, we'll try again here. 877-927-6648. Okay. Why does that not like it? Yeah, okay. I couldn't remember if I had in my list of stuff Nike for one of the guys in the den that wanted to see what options expiration looked like. I typed it in there with the wrong kind of quotes. I had single quotes instead of double quotes. But, come on. Here we go. We're getting ready. Delete options data. Download options data. Okay, so that started. So hopefully by the next break I can go back and look at those. Let's take a quick look at the TLT. But I don't think much has really changed since yesterday. Then we'll get into what's going on for earnings, because I think that's probably a bigger issue out here. Okay. Yeah. No, I don't think this looks anything like a Morning Star out here. It's a bounce on light volume, and probably just because the market's holding up a little bit. It may be the Fed's out there throwing the last little bit of cash to a market, but unless he's truly lying, which in case no one will ever believe him again, about withdrawing cash next month from the bond market, I find it interesting. So let's take a look and see what else is on the top burner out here. Let's see. Yeah, Facebook had a nice bounce in it. They had been saying they were pulling out of Europe. And yesterday, pretty much the whole day, all the leaders in Europe said, we're going to kick you out. And then all of a sudden, late afternoon yesterday, they said, I think about an hour after the market closed, no, we didn't say we were going to leave Europe. No, it wasn't us. Maybe it was my brother. Somebody else. Anyway, a little bounce, but again, not a lot of volume. The thing is, you could have a move back up to 265 and it still be in a downtrend. It's just hard for me to see that things don't get tougher for these guys going forward and not easier. Of course, a lot of people are saying TikTok has stole their thunder. Telegram is certainly a much better way to communicate than Facebook. Kind of interesting to see that it almost sounds like the Godfather trilogy, where they're talking about newspaper writers, journalists on the payroll that would put a good story in about a cop that was in the drug market and got what was coming to him when Michael killed the police sergeant. Was he a sergeant? Lieutenant? Can't remember. All I can remember was that he was 10 years earlier. He was, of course, the nut wacko in the bomb movie. You got what was that? Dr. Strangelove. I forget his name, but he was quite the character actor at the time. Anyway, not to wander too far off the path, saw a lot of articles yesterday that looked like they were paid for by Facebook on some of these issues. And, if you're wanting to go to work for Facebook, maybe that's the way you get in the door. You write a lot of self-serving articles. I don't think that's going to go. But, yeah, any stock on any day can go against you. That's why there are stops. Yeah, I mean, if you were really thinking long, I would think about 265, where that double gap is, where you're going to have real problems. This thing's probably on a sell for a number of years. And as I said, just wait until they're up against Congress all next year when the investigations come. They've been able to dodge it for a while now because of control being all three branches of the government being in control by one party. Next year, I think the wrath of Khan is coming back for these guys that molested free speech a great deal and published a lot of untruths. But like I said, whether it's Facebook or Twitter, these guys have lines. I mean lines and lines and lines of lawsuits coming up where they lied about what people said, that they committed a lot of things that are lawsuitable. And I don't know if the CEOs are going to want to hang around for all of those. But it's going to be the easy times of being in tech are probably over, and now it's time to start paying for their sins, a multitude of sins. 877-927-6648. Okay. See what else we have out here. What do I think about NVIDIA? NVIDIA. Again, I'm not exactly sure what the discount is for being dependent on Taiwan. You've got a good day, bounce today. I would have liked to seen a lot more volume, more around the 90 million shares today. We've got something like about 38, 39. So could this just be a bounce in the downtrend? It could be just on a retracement level issue. You're coming right into what is a kind of a big, massive, wide consolidation area. It's not nice and sharp for confluence. When they're big and wide like this, they tend to mush through. But certainly you didn't get the kind of volume you did on the downside. When we look here, let's go back this way. The 50% retracement is 266.68 on NVIDIA. You got to 265.95, so you're right at the 50% retracement. You're also back up to where this gap down happened on the 18th of January. That gap down happened on 42 million shares. So, not so bad. The next day on 48 million shares, you got 38. So if I'm going to be bearish on stuff, NVIDIA and AMD are not going to be the ones I pile on being tremendously bearish on. I do think that if you're going to play them on the long side, that you probably want to be in options in case anything bad happens. But other than that, 280 is the 618 on the upside. So, could have 618. I think so, just because everybody shorts these things so amazingly. You have 53 million shares about halfway through that candle on the 13th of January. I would think that was at least a logical place to start looking. Okay. Okay. Yeah. 877-927-6648. When we come back, look at AMD. We'll start looking at some options and seeing how they roll in. They are done. So we'll look at those starting at the top of the next segment.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A shares hot or not? If you trade China A shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A Share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
As we come back, we're going to start looking at options. Again, they get a lot better after the close or the last few minutes. But pretty good question in the den about what Nike options look like. And you're down. What a lot of people just say, well, you go look for the X. And that just doesn't work over time. And then why a lot of people give up the Max Payne stuff. What you're really looking for are the hockey stick bends in these. And those tell you if there's a nice bend in it, tell you where a lot of people are betting on. Nike around 146 now. There is a nice bend right here at 145. That would be a pretty good indication that they expect this to expire somewhere between 145 and 150. And again, maybe that bend comes out and that extends to 155 by the close today. It's not a huge part. Maybe that gets more prodigious. I always like that word, prodigious. But there's I like it when they're a little bit sharper and a little less unambiguous. But for the most part, it's saying that 145 should be the low going in through the next 7 trading days starting tomorrow. And probably a pretty good indication that you are on the very bottom side of that. But you had a nice bounce today. Could it take a little while to consolidate and maybe skip up to 150? I don't know about earnings on them. Do I have that? I can't remember when it was. March 21st. So you're kind of far away from that. So really not going to affect options or people trying to front run it into earnings quite yet. Generally, maybe 2 weeks in front of earnings. So maybe the second week of, maybe the first week of March, you might see a little of that in Nike if everybody's feeling froggy. But when you're that far out, does it mean you're going to run to the X? And the answer is no. Generally, you're going to see a couple of those hiccups along the way, and they call them hockey sticks in statistics. But they tend to work out fairly well, especially in options when you're looking at it. So you want to look at how much money is going to be lost at each and every expiration, and then chart the money out that would be lost. And generally that gives you a good indication at least where market makers are betting. But it'll generally fall somewhere in one of those levels. So 145 or 150. That everything above that goes straight up tends to make me think 145 is the absolute bottom, and 150-ish. We've had a pretty nice run here. Now, of course, the one I wanted to look at, because I haven't really had a good chance to do it, were the SPYs, because that's generally what I start looking at first. The ones on the NASDAQ don't tend to do a lot. Because, again, 6 stocks being everything is it. Now, on The SPYs, they are wildly optimistic, I suspect. But not as bad as you would think. You've got, generally when you have big lines, it tells you and kind of points you at it. One of the reasons why I suspected that we're kind of at the tall end of that is we do have kind of a little bit of a hockey stick right here at 450 on the SPYs, back down to 445. So we're going to have a lot of energy to go higher and break through that. If we do, this says 452.5-ish is probably a good number, 453. That would be if everybody does it. Now, there's generally a little bit of bias to the upside. It is rare to have bias to the downside, but that's kind of what the SPYs are showing here. So we'll see. Again, these are subject to change. With options expiration, you get delta neutral. That's when everybody starts going on both sides and hedging out whatever's left on the last 7 days of options expiration. And generally, you get some fairly decent movement in those by the end of the day. So that I did these right at 2:30 does tend to start showing that there is a little bit of bullish sentiment, but probably not enough to blow through those highs. If that's going to happen and you're still bullish on the market, probably after options expiration. 877-927-6648. Proclaiming prodigious mixed metaphors, that is I. Okay. Okay. Let's take a look and see if I've got anything else. Oh, I need to close that so I can get back to this, so I can get back to that. Come on, where is it at? Come on. Why is that not doing anything? Do I have to close that first? Okay. Okay. Got some emails here we're going to get to before the end of the day. Okay. Yeah, we'll take a quick look at earnings. Get back to those. Okay. Okay. What do I see on CVS with their disappointing earnings? Well, they had enough energy. You do have some good consolidation areas in Confluence, and that's 104 to 102. And you kind of went right down to that today, so you can look at that one. If that breaks, the next level down is also fairly good on Confluence. I like the longer ones better than the shorter ones. This is 97 to 98. So if I was waiting on thinking about trying to buy CVS on their disappointment here, the first time I would even think about it would be in that 98 level range. You do have a nice gap right around 95. That gap had some fairly decent volume at 14 million shares. So you've got two steps there. Ideally, you would get a test of the 93-ish level on much lighter volume than this gap, and that would probably be the best buy. It may take a little while for this thing to ratchet back through those, but you could get some nice bounces off those levels. Anything else? Oh, we had a question about CCJ. Again, decent earnings. Very tough to see that this is one that can be kept down very long. A lot of people short this one. I wasn't exactly sure why. There's a lot of new nuclear power stations, especially in China. Everybody's going to need uranium. One of the things that isn't in abundance in China is uranium. They do have some, but not a lot. And they do tend to buy a lot, and from Cameco, which is from Canada, to offset a lot of other stuff going on with them. But nice day, decent volume, in a bigger trading range between 18 and 26. So I would imagine that start getting resistance about 2450 and a test of 2654 probably coming.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are you looking for a secured investment which pays you on a monthly basis? The Tiger First Mortgage Program may be the program for you. The best rate on a 5-year CD in the country right now, according to Bankrate.com, is paying 1% per year or $1,000 per $100,000 invested. The Tiger First Mortgage Program pays 7% per year, paid monthly, on secured, high-value, buildable properties in St. Petersburg, Florida. The investment is for 4 years, paying 7% per year or $7,000 per $100,000 invested. Your investment is secured by high-value real estate in St. Petersburg, Florida. Your investment can be anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000. Do you want to make $1,000 per year on $100,000 invested or $7,000 per year on a secured Tiger First mortgage? The Tiger First Mortgage Program may be just the program for you. The Tiger First Mortgage Program pays 7% per year, paid monthly. For more information, you can call 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
So as we come to wrap up another excellent episode of our Trading Hour, Lyft had earnings out. Kind of interesting to look at them and look at options that were priced for a 15% move in the stock. You know, you had a decent move out here, but never thought you were going to make 15%, which is what you would have had to do to make them worth it. Did really open up a little lower and go a little higher out here today. We've got Uber after the bell tonight, same thing. They're priced in at 15%. So a lot of people not really know what's going on in that. After the bell tonight, we do have that Uber coming in. We also have Disney. Disney is right up against its confluence range, so it's going to need to really break through 148. They have a lot of expenses, a lot of big tentpole movies coming out through the summer, and it's unclear whether those things are going to be able to make money without packed theaters. But you can see. Anyway, 148.46 to 151 is really where that confluence level. If it breaks through that, you got some open field running. You've got some double gaps at about 165. Literally all the expenses on Hollywood are going higher. The ability to get talent is getting harder, and the expenses are going up wildly, especially for streamers. So is it just a bounce in a downtrend? Well, we'll know tonight shortly after the close. What else do we have out here? Sonus, Twilio. Take a quick look at that. TWLO after the bell. Yeah, man, dead cat bounce so far. I don't see much in this, but hey, maybe there are a bunch of people short. We will see you tomorrow, where I'll have a lot more information about options. We will also have Tim Ord on. He'll be talking about the long term in this market. And I'll be sharing probably a little more about options tomorrow. So when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you here tomorrow.